Uh, Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cosplay Confessions Live here. I've got some of our wonderful cosplayers on hand to talk about, what they, their process and how they do things. And then we'll show some photos and we'll go into more specifics. If y'all want to introduce yourselves for the audience, I guess we'll start at the top and work our way down. So, Alex, why don't you go first?
Hi, I'm Alex. My cosplay Instagram guest name is Alien Pool.
Hmm. And who are you dressed as today?
I'm Sublet um, Lucio from Dragon Maid. I am really bad at saying what the actual name is.
Yeah. I know she's supposed to be Quetzalcoatlus, right?
I got what's that?
It's a South American dragon.
Oh yeah.
Because I know all the dragons in that show are based on based on real dragons.
Yeah, because when I was watching it, I mainly was just reading the thing and not coming in the information. The easiest cosplay right now.
No problem. And we'll go down there to Mr. Joker. Kevin, why don't you introduce yourself?
I am Kevin D. I am dressed as the clown prince of crime from Gotham, the Joker. So that's about it.
Is this based on any particular era, or is this like a hodgepodge?
This is more like the classic Joker from the comics, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a beard, obviously, but I wasn't shaving.
No, it's fine. I didn't shave for this either.
This is my isolation beard I've been growing. So we'll see how long I get it.
So mine was getting pretty scraggly, though. I did trim up a bit for this. But we'll move on to the next person, Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan, also known as Moglin. I'm dressed as a very, very casual raven today. That seemed easiest in these trying times, but yeah.
Okay, and then last but not least, we got Emily down there at the bottom.
Hi, I am Emily of Emily's Makeup Madness. I am dressed as Suicide Squad Harley Quinn.
Nice. And there's any particular reason you chose that version of Harley Quinn today?
It's fun. It's easy. It's what I've got. Quick.
And I guess I should introduce myself, Scott from the store. I'm dressed up as the Ghostbusters, my goggles, got my custom flight suit. I have all of my equipment in the other room, so I'm not going to be bringing that out. But yeah, let's get started here. Obviously, you guys were going to be our judges for our cosplay contest if the Comic Book Day didn't get canceled this year because of COVID-19.
Yep.
So first I would like to start off with saying thank you so much for coming on and helping us record some stuff. And maybe hopefully let some of our viewers on some of your cosplay secrets here. So I guess to start off, I guess I'll just ask off the top, everyone the same question around the table here. Well, the virtual table here. What made you want to start getting into cosplay? And whoever wants to start us off, can just jump in.
Can I go?
Yeah.
So my first Comic-Con was around early 90s, mid-90s, around there. It was a Comic-Con in New York. My buddy wanted to go with me, so I decided to make my own Spider-Man costume.
Mm-hmm.
And he bought one of the Batman costumes available. So he got that, and we went as Batman and Spider-Man. And then I enjoyed it so much, I decided to start getting more costumes. I started my own party business after that. And then my costumes gradually grew, and I started going to Comic-Cons. And then I started being my first guest was at Wizard World about 5 years ago, Wizard World Philly. And then since then, I've been, I guess, at different Comic-Cons. But I enjoyed it so much. And then we started the Philly Avengers. We do a lot of cosplay charity stuff. So I enjoy doing the charity stuff. But I've been having a lot of fun. Mostly it's to make friends, too. So I made a lot of friends doing the cosplay.
Okay, same question, another person. Whoever wants to jump in. I can call on you.
Okay, I'll go. I've always been really into mainly video games, and who doesn't love dress up? And I found out that there was a hobby that combined both, and then also that people made their own costumes, and I've always been very artsy fartsy and creative, so I thought like, oh, that sounds like right up my alley. So I was kind of a lurker in the community for a few years, just kind of like cultivating ideas of how people do certain things, and then I just decided to start doing it on my own. And I had done it before I even started attending conventions, just because I liked doing it. So but like Kevin said, now I attend a lot of conventions, and I've done a lot of stuff with Level Up, and I've made so many friends through it. It's actually like crazy to think of the amount of people I've met because of it.
Yeah, it's a great community.
Thanks.
Yeah.
A lot of good people.
So I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of, not just you guys, but a lot of great cosplayers just through the store event, because I'm not a big cosplayer. This is one of 2 costumes I have. But yeah, Emily, how did you get started in this?
I think it was a while ago Heroes of Cosplay was on, and my
That was on
family.
Sci-Fi, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. And we watched it, and like I've always been into like theater and acting, and then I got really, really into makeup. So this kind of put all of the things I love together, and just on a whim decided one of the free comic book days to be the Joker.
Yeah, I remember that. You were a big surprise hit that year.
Yeah.
Still a legend.
Yeah, I remember that.
Not to do too many spoilers, but we will get into that a little bit later. But yeah, Alex, how did you get started in this whole cosplay world?
So I was in like high school, and like I like, you know, my brothers and stuff, and then this girl transferred to my high school, and she was she was a huge weeb. She had and she sat like Elle and stuff, and she eventually made friends with some of the friends I had in high school, and she invited me to a convention. I'm like, yeah, I like this stuff, but not that. So I'm not that much of a nerd. So then all my friends came back because apparently they went, and they were like, "Oh my god, it's so much fun!" And I'm like, "It was?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, maybe I'll go the next time." And then the girl that I'm still friends with her bridesmaid now. We like super friends. Like she brought me to the next convention because she goes to them like as many times as she can. And we went to this one convention, and she's the worst. It wasn't even. Like, I look back and it was pretty horrible, but I had so much fun. Like I made an outfit. It was from Naruto, and of course, like my grandma made it. It looks horrible. Like I look back at it, ah. And, I go there. I'm like, I swear to God, if I'm the only one dressed up, blah blah blah. I see all these people dressed up. That was the coolest thing ever. It was like a level of a Halloween party, like, and then like we were shopping and doing all this stuff. Like, she's a skinny thing, so she hardly ate. So I hardly ate because I didn't want to. Like I was scared. I didn't want to be left alone. But like after that, I was like, this is so much fun. And like, so I got hooked onto it, and I just went every year with. Like, there was too many people in the one room, so then I made my own group.
So nice. I know for a fact all of you guys have more than one. You don't have like one signature costume or character. You do, but do you guys have like a character or someone that you feel specific, or a costume you feel specifically connected to, or you're kind of known for? Say Morgan, if you want to start, or Kevin, if you want to start us off on that.
I guess lately it's Doctor Strange. I do a lot of, I guess mostly because of the Philly Avengers. That's mainly what I do for them. So it's Doctor Strange, and then I do a lot of different Batman characters. And then also Negan. I do a lot of, pretty much every con I do, I go as Negan at one point.
I was saying, I think I first met you. You were dressed up as Batman.
Yeah.
Um,
You were. You had a. It was my Arkham suit, Batman.
yes, I couldn't remember which version of Batman was, but that was the time. Yeah, when the
Yeah,
Arkham games were new.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Emily, do you feel like you have a signature character?
I feel like mine is very obviously the Joker and
Yeah.
Harley.
Let's say I know you've moved away from the Joker for a bit, but like you were
Yeah.
really known as that for a while.
Yeah, that was a long time. I was known as the Joker, and I was like, yeah.
But you usually dress up as something kind of crazy. Well, not crazy, but like I've seen you now. Now you've been what, Dr. Frankfurter, Obi-Wan
Yeah.
Kenobi from
Love
the prequels.
Yeah. What, Frankenfurter or Obi-Wan with the freaking beard?
The Obi-Wan one's probably my favorite. The Obi-Wan one's my favorite of the two because I did not recognize you for a bit.
I remember that.
I remember being like, "Who is that person?" I was like, there was like a small glimmer of like recognition, and then I saw you with your family, and like, oh my god, like when it clips. But that was really fun because I didn't know you were going to be dressed as Obi-Wan. That was on May the 4th for that free comic book day because I remember a lot of people were doing Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Morgan,
one's a lot of fun.
yeah, that was a good one. Morgan, do you have a particular character you feel like is more your signature or that you gravitate towards more?
I wouldn't say I really gravitate towards her more anymore, but I was definitely pretty well known for my Harley.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a lot of it had to do with I wore that one a lot. Not even just like level up events or photo shoots, but I think I wore her the most to conventions outside of everything. Like a lot of my costumes I've only worn once or twice. I wore like into the ground to the point where there's definitely some things I need to fix if I need to wear her again. So I think just for that, I got a lot of recognition for that costume and, just my presence online with that costume. And I'd have people like, at the free comic book day events, like 2 years later say, oh yeah, I met you as Harley like a year ago or 2 years ago. I was like, yes, that was me. Like once they see my prints, and I still get it a lot.
Say, yeah, because you were specifically Arkham City, right?
I was Arkham Knight, so I wore that one to the when I worked at GameStop. It was the midnight release of the game, which is another reason I was like, I kind of loved it, but I wore that one into the ground mainly because I didn't really have any other costumes.
And Alex, I don't think I've ever seen you wear the same thing twice.
Yeah, I wore Zarya a couple times. Like, they were either like at little conventions or like, because I made the outfit the first time I, finished it, but I didn't have the gun. The second time I was gonna wear it, my friend was having kind of a breakdown thing about her cosplay because she's a little OCD about like everything being perfect. So I was trying to help her. It's just for fun. Don't worry about this looking like that. And I had the huge gun and everything, but it got so late into the night I couldn't really wear it. So I just walked around with the Zarya hair and a scar and a hoodie because I'm like, I couldn't wear it. But like this conventions, I brought some stuff. So that would be the main thing that I would wear a lot.
Okay. Now, Morgan, I know you mentioned some maintenance on your costume. I think that's something that the average person may not really realize. Is that they're kind of like living pieces and constantly like have to mend and update and change things. Like, what's the most difficult costume you've had for that?
For maintenance, it would definitely be Harley, just because that was only my second costume I had ever made. So there was a lot of pieces to that I kind of just winged it. And like now looking back, I'm a lot more experienced and I could definitely say like, okay, hot glue isn't going to hold these straps together. Like don't fool yourself. So I wouldn't do it. But of course, Harley, she was held together by like faith, hot glue, safety pins. She had a lot of little pieces like, just like a lot of little like rhinestone and stud type things that would constantly fall off. So I have like a huge bulk bag just to replace things with. So that was difficult. I've gotten a lot better with that now. But I mean, with that sort of thing, I feel like you're not going to know until you wear it, which is the scary part. Like, there's always going to be something that slips past you, and you realize when you get home, like, okay, I need to fix this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Kevin, I know you have a lot of your costumes are relatively elaborate. Like even just this Joker, like how many pieces of clothing are you wearing on your torso now?
Right now I got my shirt, the tie, the vest, the jacket, and the flower. My
Yeah.
Joker pants. I don't have my Joker shoes on because you can't see my shoes, so
That's
where my
fine.
pants is.
But I know a lot of your costumes must be relatively warm. I've seen you in you've got like Captain America.
Yeah,
You've got two
Captain
kinds of Batman.
Yeah, I have. Lately, I've been wearing more of my '89 suit
Mm-hmm.
because that's one of my newer suits. It's my favorite movie ever.
Were you able to edit the costume so you can turn your head?
Yeah, it turns pretty.
Or do you have to do the Muppet thing that they do in that where you turn your whole body to turn your
The
head?
cow's pretty soft. It's just an
Mhm.
older one, so it moves pretty easy. So I've been wearing that for like the birthday parties and different cons and whatnot.
Yeah.
As far as like my Doctor Strange, I started making that before the movie came out when they started releasing pictures, and I
Mhm.
started putting that together. And then when the movie came out, I started upgrading because I got better pictures of the costume. I'm still upgrading. I just got a new eye recently.
Nice.
The one before that I actually made, I designed it and 3D printed it and put the LED and everything in it. I gave it to a friend because I bought a better one, a real metal one online. And before that, one of my first suits was the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Okay.
And
You had like the raised webbing and everything?
yeah, with the raised urethane webbing. I bought that one, but I had to keep fixing it because the webbing kept breaking. I had to get like a little bottle and had to fix the webbing and constantly.
So one thing that bothered me about some of these movies, and Tobey Maguire one specifically, is how was a poor kid from Queens supposed to make that costume?
Yeah, I know, really.
Like
The hobby.
A lot of Joanne fabric coupons.
and the
Yeah.
way Spider-Man's costume is in general, because like there's no seam for the mask or anything, or a zipper. You know, in real life when you dress up as Spider-Man, you have to be able to get in and out of the costume, and like you never have to deal with that in even the comics even. And I
Yeah,
always
his
find
first suit was more realistic, where he was wrestling.
yeah.
That was more realistic of what he could have actually done.
Oh yeah, realistic in that like I could make that costume if I got bit by a radioactive spider, and I'm probably the least costume creator here. I say probably, like I definitely am. But I know you are you shortened your name. Used to be Emily's Makeup Madness. Now you're just Emily's Madness.
Yeah.
But like makeup is a big part of what you
Definitely.
do, and that was one of the things that really sold your Joker, because you did the Dark Knight one where he's got the scarred smile.
Oh yeah.
How did you get into makeup? Because you're self-taught, right?
Yeah, entirely just self-taught. You know, online videos off like YouTube and stuff.
I was about to say, I guess that's a little bit of a generation gap, because if I was younger, I would have had to have like gone to a class or like get a book or something
Yeah.
to do that.
That
But
was,
how long do you think it took you to get to the level where like you were able to do the Joker makeup for the first time?
when I did the joke up maker for the joke up. Oh my god. Pete, it's getting to me.
Yeah.
The Joker makeup for the first time, I didn't really know what I was doing, which it may have seemed like I did, but I really didn't.
Fooled
It was
me.
just a lot of tutorials, and by the end of the day, it was literally melting off of my face.
Yeah.
So a lot of the makeups that I do require a lot of research into like what to use, because now instead of using like scar wax or latex, because that doesn't really move well around the mouth, nothing really does. I've gone to rigid collodion, which pulls the skin and indents it, so it looks like it's been scarred or cut open. But that even still, I'm still looking for something that moves well around the mouth.
Okay. Yeah, I would say I bet that can be a challenge, because you don't think about all of the face and how your skin distorts as you talk.
Yeah.
And like even if you don't talk, you got to eat at some point, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, when I'm as Joker, I eat like the small like fries. I'm like, I can't. I need a straw. Everything's just everywhere.
Mhm. So now, Alex, I know you go to a lot of cons. What's been some of your favorite ones you've been to?
I've been to well, Katsucon was one of the better ones for a bit because I would go to when I was younger, I went to Budokan a lot, but my last one was when I guess it was just way too hot and way too many people. Once it gets too many people, then I'm like outie.
Mhm.
But the last one was when they took the fountains, and I'm like, ah, yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, like, see, my friends were having fun with the bubbles. I'm like, good for you guys. But like, I guess Katsucon's the best one because I guess I see more of my friends, but I want to go to MagFest though. I heard that's more poppin'. And Dragon.
I know a lot of people swear by Dragon Con, at least in the cosplay community that I know. So I personally don't get to too many cons. One, having the small business, you don't really have the time. And two, like, once my wallet opens up at one of these things, it doesn't close.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's so many people I want to talk to, but I feel really bad if I don't buy anything because like I feel like I'm wasting their time. So I generally try not to go to too many cons. And I especially don't go. I mean, I'm not a cosplayer. I don't go dressed up. I get too hot just in t-shirt and jeans and shorts, you know. But it is something that like it would be fun. If we were able to do Free Comic Book Day this year, I would have done my Ghostbusters outfit, which I don't normally cosplay during the day, just because like I got to work and it's just like I don't feel like. But we did a Stranger Things event for our pinball machine, and I wore this outfit because season 2 they wore Ghostbusters costumes for Halloween. I was like, well, an excuse to wear this. But that was kind of an excuse. But that was kind of my test run for like doing it all day long, because I know my Batman costume I only want to wear for like an hour or 2 tops because it's so hot. And it's kind of a pain to put on and off. This is pretty easy. Literally just jump into the jumpsuit. But all right, so I'm gonna share my screen here. I'm gonna go through a couple of you guys' individual costumes. I'll ask you some questions if you can tell us a little bit about them specifically. Let me pull up the first one. That should be that one. I don't know if everyone can see that one there. But
it's me.
This is so Emily. You're obviously wearing this costume now. And I know you didn't put the tattoos on for this video chat.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's a lot of tattoos involved in this. Can you tell us a little bit about
many tattoos.
How you get those on? I know you don't take a pen and just draw them on.
I have tried many a thing. Pen, not one of them. Yet, at least, hasn't come to that. Not been that dire.
Mm-hmm.
But I know the first time I think I did a weird we bought the tattoos, which was cool and great, and there was a way you could do it by layering Prozate adhesive on your skin and then on the tattoo and putting it on and doing the water slide thing and having it, come off, and then it's there and it's stuck. It will not go anywhere. Mm-hmm. So far, I've still been doing that. I just don't buy the tattoos anymore. We have, they make tattoo paper, so you can print and make your own tattoos. So that's what I do. I have done, like henna almost I've used Inkbox because it's the same kind of blue, but that didn't set in as well as I'd like, so I literally just was there one day drawing over them with an eyeliner, just like, this is fine, everything's fine.
You'll see, that seems to be the one part of this costume I think would probably be the most difficult to pull off.
Oh yeah.
Just in terms of because they put a lot of tattoos on her for this movie. But no, it's interesting to know that. I assume, did you make the rest of the costume, or did you pick that up?
So this shirt we actually made. like we bought a shirt like this, and then we had to cut the top off and sew it back on. I think, did we dye this? We didn't dye the red bit. I think we actually surgeryed 2 shirts together. I'm not entirely certain of that. But then we had to do the whole, like, let me take my jacket off. The whole sleeve dyeing thing, which was an interesting adventure, dip dyeing a sleeve. I don't remember if we painted these stripes on or not. It doesn't look like we did, but we had to put like the red and do the printing of the Daddy's Little Monster and just destroying the shirt in
That's
general.
really cool that you guys made that, because I definitely know they sold those at Hot Topic and
They did.
Spencer's.
Yeah. I think this jacket was actually from Hot Topic. I'm not entirely sure.
Those stores honestly just blend together in my brain at a certain point.
Yeah.
But why did you why did you pick a Suicide Squad version versus, like, I might have just asked this earlier in the chat, I just realized. But yeah, let me switch over to the next one, give you a bit of a break there.
Yeah.
Now,
I know
Kevin,
for this.
this is you want to tell us a little bit about this costume? Because it's an original design.
That is the Zeus Superman. I was picked to be part of a group at Katsucon for Justice League as Greek gods, and my one friend that was organizing the group, she wanted me to do that one, the Zeus Superman, and it's pretty much all foam. The top part I built on top of my Darth Vader armor, so I cut all the pieces of the foam, and I actually glued it onto the Darth Vader armor with hot glue. And then the bottom part is all foam too. I cut all the pieces and painted it and all that. Same with the boot covers. It's all foam. I made the whole thing. It took me about a month to do. Even the cape, I cut out the fabric and made it. And the staff I cut that all out and made it with foam. The helmet, I actually got the helmet right here. I was playing with it earlier. It's a metal helmet that I bought, like a Spartan helmet, and I painted it all blue and then painted the top red so it would match the costume. But yeah, it was cool. So I got a lot of comments on it, so it was a lot of fun.
You're in the cosplay culture magazine with your group.
Yeah.
I remember I bought it the one day and I was flipping through it and I was like, I know that group, and I was naming like everybody in it.
I was gonna say, I know you get to really know the local cosplay community. I was gonna say, when I first saw this picture, at first blush, I was like, "Oh, that's a cool General Zod," and I just moved on. And then talking to you, you're like, "Oh no, it's Superman and Zeus." And I looked, I was like, "Oh my God, of course it is. That's not what Zod's like insignia looks like to begin with."
Yeah.
I think it was the beard that threw me off.
Yeah, it was Zeus. So Zeus has a beard.
No, it makes a lot of sense because my brain immediately goes to Superman too. But no, it's really cool. I think that's a really cool one. Did you design the costume or did?
My friend, she actually designed a lot of the people that were going to be in it. She had pictures that she sent. So I took the picture. I made it kind of my own. It's a little different than what she designed. So actually, I designed something similar to this years ago. I was intending to do. Never got around to it. And then this group popped up. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be Superman Zeus. So that was my chance to actually make it then.
Oh, that's really awesome. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, Alex, I got you Zarya here. Now you made this costume yourself, right?
What was it? Did you say?
You made this costume yourself now, right?
Oh yeah. Like, it's funny. Like the arm parts was like it's like winter camo, but I completely forgot like the shirt I was supposed to wear with it at home. So I basically just made that at the hotel. I was like, God, marker.
And then you made all the LEDs and.
Yeah, like I have the back. You can kind of see off the wall. It's that was the day I get to finish my design. So I just walked. Hey, I got enough attention, but all of that's made out like thick ass foam. Sorry.
So, no, that's fine. How old were you when you did this?
Not too long ago, but like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, I thought this was older than that.
I just look that great.
Yeah. You haven't aged a day, though.
I was like, oh, you look like shit right now.
That's fine. I think it's the wig makes you look younger, the pink one. I just associate pink with, like, young. But no, that's really cool that I'm really jealous of people that can work with LEDs. I would love to customize my Proton Pack to have LEDs and to be able to play. It's got some sound stuff, but I'd love to expand it. So I'm really jealous of, I've seen people do some really crazy stuff with cosplay and LEDs and different kinds of effects.
I know a cheat.
I would love to know a cheat.
So the ones on the thigh, those are basically like, have you ever gone to like a craft store? And
Yes.
you see those lights in the jars that moms love all the time. Lights all over the place. And you just pretty much buy that, put it all up in a ball and just shove it in there. And I just like super glue everything on there, and I put it's run by a battery. So I just put it on the back of the thigh where my, what's it called? The film fabric of my pants. It seemed to impress people, so.
Well, it impresses me.
Everybody loves
Now, this is your infamous Harley Quinn,
Yes.
Morgan. Obviously, there's all kinds of like corsets and stuff. That was the thing you were saying you have trouble like maintaining.
Yeah. So this first of all, I had my very first, maybe not my very first, cosplay emotional mental breakdown trying to figure out those corsets and how they worked, because like Kevin was saying with his Doctor Strange, I did this, I was doing it for the midnight release of the game. So the only references I had to go off of were whatever promo art they released, which luckily for me, she was in a lot of the main like promotional art for the game, even though she was in the game for like 20 minutes, which was great. But so a lot of it I had to just kind of like assume what the back looked like, or like assume what the shoes looked like. And I remember maybe a week before the game came out, they had released another trailer, like gameplay trailer, and her shoes looked completely different to what I had done. And I was like, I give up. I'm just not even going to wear it. But they ended up scrapping that. Her shoes looked exactly like how I did it. But yeah, this costume was just a lot of guesswork, and I was really inexperienced. So there's a lot of those straps are, now they're a little more sturdy, because after going back and fixing them, I've been able to kind of like permanently fix them. But like my hair, the wig in that costume constantly bleeds onto the white shirt. So that white shirt has been bleached maybe like 10 times. And it's falling apart, because that's what happens when you bleach something 10 times and it's been sewn together by someone who's never sewn before. So it's a lot of stuff like that, but I was actually really proud of how that turned out, especially for it being one of my first costumes. So at least you can go back and kind of upgrade things, like Kevin was saying. As things fall apart, you can kind of make them a little bit better. So that's what that costume basically is. And
I assume you painted that bat yourself.
Oh yeah, so it's actually a wiffle ball bat.
Oh, okay.
So it's really light. I got it from like Target or something, and I did the pinstripes up the side and everything, and I threw some rivets on it. But it's very light and very nice. So I'm happy with how it turned out.
This is probably a good time to mention for people who may be wanting to get into cosplay. If you're going to have weapons, make sure they're not anything that can be mistaken for a real weapon. Like if that was a real baseball bat, they probably would let you not carry it around.
Yeah, they'll weigh it too. Yeah, I was going to say, but you'd be surprised with what I've gotten away with.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, but like just to be extra safe.
Yeah. It's definitely it should be a constant concern if you plan on wearing it out in public. If it's just a costume that you're gonna have a photo shoot with friends or whatever, go for it. But if you plan on wearing it in public or bringing it to a convention, definitely keep that in the back of your mind, or at least have a backup plan.
Okay, let's move on to the next person. All right, Kevin, here's your Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah.
Now, mistaking me if I'm wrong, but is this photoshopped?
I did a huge group shoot in New York, and the
Mhm.
photographer, he actually took pictures of everybody individually and put us all together in like this giant poster. So I was in the middle, and everybody was kind of like around me. He did like different versions of it too. But yeah, he put in extra effects and everything. It was really cool.
Yeah, I would say, is this the first Eye of Agamotto, or is that the second one that you were
That
working
is
on?
that's actually the one that I designed and 3D printed.
Okay.
I had one before that, which actually, like I said, I started working on the costume before the movie even came out. So I went by like how the comic book kind of one was, and I actually designed one of those in 3D printed, but it didn't look like the movie one. So I redid it to make it more look like the movie one. I put an LED and everything in it, and I made it shine and light up.
I will say what's nice about doing the movie version of the costume is it's of the Marvel movies. I think it's one of the closer ones to the comics.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange has got so many like fun little accessories and doodads. You can kind of start making it your own as you go.
Well, the cloak, the first cloak that I had, it didn't have the lining. But then when the movie got released, I found actually the lining online, just an image. So then I had it actually printed on fabric, and I sewed it into the cloak to make it look more like the movie version.
Okay. And so was there anything else like with this costume specifically? Because I know you've done this one a bunch. I remember there was you did a pinball shoot for the obvious pinball wizard joke. Yeah.
Yeah, with one of my friends. One of my friends, Joe, he's a local photographer. He took me over to a bowling alley in Hamilton. They had a pinball machine, so I was a pinball wizard, and he took a bunch of pictures. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It's still one of my favorite suits. I still wear it all the time. It takes a lot, and it's really warm.
So yeah, not to denigrate any of your other suits, but I think this one might be your favorite one that you do. Also, because like your face kind of reminds me a little, not so much of Benedict Cumberbatch, but just the comic book version of Doctor Strange. Like you could tell me it was that, and I wouldn't think twice about it. But I do know it was inspired by the Benedict Cumberbatch version.
Yeah, it was, and I get to use a beard. A lot of my costumes have beards, so
my one friend Joe, he usually does cosplay for things, but because he's got a big full beard, he always does a character related to that.
Yeah. It's easy. I could grow a beard in like a week till I'm Italian, so it just pops right out. I could do Batman one weekend and do Doctor Strange the next weekend.
All right, so Emily, this is your Witch Mercy costume.
Yes.
So it's another Overwatch character here, but this is the Halloween version of her. Can you tell us a little bit about what went into to make this?
This was actually mostly found online. I just had to modify the book, and we're still working on the wings. That's the most annoying part of the cosplay. We actually had to, after wearing it the first time, which is that picture, we had to fix the hat and attempt to fix the wings because they want to like flop about.
Yeah,
So
I remember you walking from your car to this event. This was a Halloween Fest last year.
Yeah.
But I remember like the wind was like catching them, and they were kind of acting like real wings and wanted to take off.
I also remember a very frantic Emily at this event with those wings.
Well, I will say it came out great.
Thank you.
This is one of my favorite pictures I've taken of any cosplayer we've had at any of our events. That's the pose. It really sells it.
I try to like be spot on with like posing and becoming the character rather than just, putting a costume on and being like, hey.
Yeah, I know that's a thing a lot of people don't realize with like that will take like even an okay costume to like it'll take you up a notch.
Oh yeah.
Like you can go from good to great and great to amazing just from how you can pose and how you can just kind of hold yourself and present yourself as the character. There's a little bit of acting involved
Mhm.
that I don't think people always necessarily, like people that are getting into it necessarily realize.
Yeah.
And I know from a couple of cosplayers, especially ones that wear like full masks, is like it's really easy to kind of like lose yourself in it.
Yeah.
I know when I'm Batman, like his people want to come up, like little kids want to come talk to you and stuff, and like I kind of play up the like corny superhero-ness just because that's that version of Batman I've got.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I remember the one time when you asked me to be there for I think it was like Batman's anniversary or something.
yeah, it was one of the Batman Day events. You came as the Joker.
Yeah. Well, I came as Harley the other time, and there was a little girl who came
Oh.
up to me and was like, "Are you real?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"I think I am. I don't know."
Yeah, that was our birthday party from last year.
Oh yeah.
So we've teamed up. You've cosplayed at the store for like basically every event that we
It
do.
all just blends together now.
Dude, you don't have to tell me about it. But Witch Mercy, I think, came out very good. And
Thank you.
says you got a lot of the pieces. Like a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of people
there's
that will
so
make
much.
stuff for cosplay specifically on like Etsy or
Yeah.
Redbubble. Or
There's so many like resources and everything everywhere.
yeah, it's nice that you don't have to make everything from
Oh
scratch.
yeah.
It makes people that are maybe be a little bit more casual about it help.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just basically like no entry skill you need to start cosplay.
Yeah.
Okay, now Alex.
I love that.
Oh my god.
That
So
was
this,
last year.
yeah, so this is based on one of the human characters in Untitled Goose Game. What
Yeah.
possessed you to do this character specifically from that game?
Well, like I wanted, I think that was Friday. Like one of those, you know how like conventions go, like you go in a cosplay on Friday, then you go to the big cosplay Saturday, and then
Comfy cosplay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that one was like the easiest thing I could put up together. And like my one friend, she was like, "Okay, who wants to cosplay from the Goose Game?" And I'm like, "I'll do it." And I'm like, and she was gonna dress up like a giant goose, but she ended up going a different route. But I ended up having a goose with me.
So was it in the box?
What makes you think that? No honking coming from it. But yeah, like that was pretty fun because like every once in a while, like somebody would come by and it's like, "Oh my god, I love your cosplay." It's like, "Is that a goose in there?" I'm like, "No."
And I remember, if I remember correctly, this was like the week after that game had come out. This was a really quick turnaround for you.
Oh yeah, like I pretty much didn't really make anything from that. I mean, like that hat, I'm wearing that right now. I just put paint on it now, so it's like a reusable thing. But I got the coat from Home Depot. I was like, "Oh, this is easy as all hell." And then like I work at a mailroom, so we have loads of boxes. So I was able to paint everything up, and I have short hair, so just all went together pretty fast. And apparently, those pants I was able to buy those pants at CVS because CVS now sells clothes. I didn't know that. And I'm like, "Oh, I need olive pants. This works out."
Well, I didn't know CVS sold pants now. That's super random.
It's
Yeah.
really random. It's so weird, but it worked out. I mean, they were stretchy, so I'm like, one size fits all there, man.
Yeah. God bless drugstores, man.
I'm
Like,
like, this is the easiest cosplay I ever put together.
All right, now Morgan, this is one of your many links. Yeah, so clearly you went for Ocarina of Time here, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is that your favorite Zelda game, or?
See, I wouldn't even say it is. I think my favorite Legend of Zelda game is probably Wind Waker, just
Okay.
because that was the first. I was around that age where that was the first one I actually like finished. You know, I'd spent hours playing it, so it's got a special place in my heart. But for this costume, I wanted to do, you know, like a really classic design, and I was like, okay, well, classic Link to me is like Ocarina of Time look. I mean, you could argue like, oh, what about the NES? You know, Legend of Zelda. It's like, it's Pixel Link. I don't know if I want to pull that off right now.
And in the art for that game, he's not wearing pants.
Exactly. So this one I had played and I loved. So I decided to go for this. This was my very first costume. I had many things that went wrong with this costume. The first being every single piece of the fake leather you see, so the belt, the gauntlets, the shoes, I ordered in a brown as a very poor high school student, and it came in bright orange. And I could not do anything about it because I didn't have the money to return like 3-4 yards of this pleather, so I had to paint it. I painted it all, and then that means it all stuck together. So the paint came off. I actually just this year went ahead and threw out all those pieces and redid it all. So I have an updated version of this costume because I do love the character design. But yeah, this was my first costume. I sewed that tunic probably 3 times until I got one that I liked. Same with, like I said, the shoes and everything were just a pain in the butt. But I did this one because my parents got me the sword and the shield for Christmas one year, and I had been saying, like, oh, maybe I'll do a Link costume as my first one, so they got me the props. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I have to do this now. So that's what I did. And then my sister ran around in my woods and took photos of me.
I was going to say, I feel like Link might be deceptively simple looking because it's kind of like, you know, green dress over like white tights and then like boots and whatnot. But I know that, like you said, like you can kind of see the orange in the gauntlets.
Yeah. So those are like, if you look at the photos, he actually has like these strips that go underneath, so it's kind of like woven in underneath of those padded areas, and his gloves are a lot more like complicated than you'd think. So it was a good first costume because it was a lot of simple approaches to things. The hardest thing was probably like the sewing for me, but I think it turned out pretty good. And even though I redid all the boots, I got like a convention safe sword because that's a real steel sword and I can't bring that anywhere. But I kept the tunic exactly the same. I redid the undershirt because those sleeves aren't connected to anything. They were duct taped to my shoulders.
Okay.
So, because I didn't know how to sew them in to where they wouldn't look like crap from the outside. So I got like a new undershirt, but I kept the tunic exactly the same, and I still love it.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I assume you got the Ocarina online as well.
Yep.
All right, and this is the last picture I've got for today. This is your infamous. Well, this is the second iteration of your infamous Joker, right,
That
Emily?
is the second time I ever did that. Dear
Now,
Lord.
I know that we really liked it the first time, but on your Cosplay Confessions article, we have a side-by-side comparison, and oh my God, what an improvement between the two!
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what you learned about between those 2 times doing this Joker.
Oh, so many things. So, like, I got better at the makeup, and those prosthetics I actually ended up making, like, the night before, and it was a disaster in the hotel room with, like, liquid latex, just like, this is fine, everything's fine, I can manage, this is okay, it's all gonna be okay. So the latex prosthetics worked out a lot better. Unfortunately, way less range of movement in the face. So speaking and eating was interesting. And I learned spirit gum hardens instead of stays flexible. So they were like falling off of my face near the end of the day.
And you said you made the prosthetics. What did you make them out of?
So when you make prosthetics, you can make them on like those Halloween face masks. This was before I had a whole like face cast. So I used clay and like sculpted them on there, and then layered a bunch of liquid latex over them, powdered them, and then peeled the latex off, and that was the prosthetic that I used. And I had to like glue that onto my face with a bunch of like latex and tissue paper and stuff to try to blend the edges out.
So how long did you get through the day before they started coming off?
Oh, not even like through the first panel that I went to. That was the year that I had met David Tennant, and the panel was hilarious, which is great, but not when you have prosthetics right on the side of your face.
Well, the Joker's not known for laughing, so
Yeah.
so that works out for you.
Yeah.
But your Joker cosplay was always a big hit. I know you stopped wearing it around to store events because I know some kids got really scared of you.
Yes, I would go in, I'd look at a child, and they burst into tears immediately. Just.
And I know that's not why we want to, you want to cosplay. You want to have people enjoy it. It's
great because it's like that's the effect you're going for, but I also don't like making children cry.
Yeah. But it's amazing just in general how much more people respond to like Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Because there's not that they're one for one like clones of each other, but she's very clearly inspired by the Joker.
Yeah.
Like she's kind of like a Supergirl like type offshoot of him.
Mm-hmm.
So I always found that interesting. Oh, I accidentally went back one.
Emily, how long ago did you make that costume?
Literally, it's been a lot of it are the same pieces from the first time that I did it.
Which I think we discovered was 5 years ago this year, right?
5?
Yeah, it was like 5 years ago. That tie, I think, is the same. I'm not entirely sure.
I mentioned I was doing this to like Ray, and he had said he's like Emily, we've known her since she was like 12, right?
Yeah.
I was like 13.
And he's like, now she's like a grown ass person.
Yeah, I am in fact a grown ass person now.
Yeah, I noticed that because you did some photos with South Jersey Jason. And that's the first time I'd seen you do cosplay that's like a normal person. And I was like, oh my god, Emily's a grown-up.
Yeah. It was hilarious because back then I had like ridiculously long hair and everybody just thought that wig was my hair. And I was like, no, I dye it green, but no, that's not, it's this long brown mess.
It's convincing.
Yeah. That was before I discovered lace front wigs. I still have that wig. I have to update the wig. I ended up re-dyeing that wig.
So I'm sure you can repurpose it to something else too if you want.
Oh yeah, probably not now because I actually did a method of dyeing. Not the proper method of dyeing a wig. You should really use fabric dye instead of alcohol and Sharpie. But it worked.
Yeah.
As long as it works, it's cool.
Yeah.
But, well, I want to thank my our guests here again. Here's all of their contact info. Not to say contact info, but like where you can find them online.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you guys again for doing this. Unless you have any final thoughts. I just realized I kind of cut off Obi-Wan Kenobi in your name, under your name there, Emily. I'm sorry about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I am now Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I just realized that, but these are part of some printable cards. And I call them cards. They're designed after like the 90s X-Men cards. But you can download them on our website right now, .com. But they're 11 by 8.5. So if you want, you can print them out and put them on your wall. Of you guys and some of your cosplays and many other cosplayers we've had. We have full articles with you guys on our website as well under Cosplay Confessions. But thank you again so much for joining us. Please stick around. We'll do our cosplay showcase soon. And we'll discuss some other cosplayers who have submitted some cosplays for us to look at. Thank you.